One year I studied my craft. While you were all out partying, I was in here studying the blade. 1 year I spent in this room, pounding away at the notes at the fretboard. Hey, it's 3 a.m. Good morning, everybody. Why is it so bright in here? It's time to mother flippin' practice. Wake up. I know this video posts at 12, but it's the same day if you're seeing this the day of. Oh god, my arm's getting tired. Hold on, let me go to a regular intro. Hey, this is Cameron, and welcome to the practice log. Whoa. Let's go ahead and make our way to the chair, shall we? Back to the old greasy, grisly grind. How's it going? Hope you're doing alright. So it's 3 a.m. on a Wednesday morning. I didn't get much sleep. Why am I up so early? Because it's New Year's? Because, like, I'm getting a head start on the year? I'm gonna get that extra hour or so of practice? No, nothing inspiring like that. My girlfriend was just here, and she had to go to work early. So, you know, gotta walk her to her car and stuff. And now I'm up. We're up now. It's actually good for me. It's good to wake up this early, because it's nice being up before everyone else, which there's probably a lot of people still up right now, but for me, this is a new day. I think it's a little crooked. Are you guys a little crooked? Is it bothering you? Let me fix that really quick. Hey, there we go. That's a little better now. You're all square with the ceiling now. That's good. Yeah, no, it's good to be up this early because it gives me a chance to just really think about guitar and this life that I live and all the decisions that I've made that have brought me to this point. And it's nice to just sit in that and know that it is no one's fault other than my own. Anywho, let's jump right on into it. It's a new year. Do you guys feel inspired right now? Am I freaking killing this? I could go back to bed right now. I have a bunch of videos lined up, but I don't have an inspiring talking chair portion lined up for today, so might as well film that sucker right now. That brings me to the first thing that I want to talk about, which I'm going to riff on this a little bit. I'm going to try to wake up a little bit too, but I'm probably going to go right back to sleep after filming this. I might not even practice until like later in the day. But you know, here I am in the morning answering your questions. There's no rest here. I don't rest except for when I'm cutting off my note durations, if you know what I'm saying. I don't physically rest though. I'm always doing this. I'm always thinking about this. Anyways, let me go ahead and jump into this. This one is from Jazz Smith 5187. Your username scares me a little bit, but we will proceed anyways. I'm just kidding. Practice what you want to practice. I love jazz. I do. It might not seem like it. I do enjoy jazz. You said, is it bad if after practicing for 10-ish days in a row as a beginner, and I do my best to keep good hand positions, that my wrist gets a little sore? Not only is it bad, but it also means that you're a bad person if that happens. No, you're fine. You're probably a good person. I'm hoping no, because I'm still new, but IDK, LOL, LMNOP, QRS, let me answer your question now. Now, you know, what scares me a little bit about like 10 days in a row, it's kind of like me when I say, hey, I haven't drank alcohol in like 4 days. And it's like, why are you counting, bro? If you're thinking about the number like that, I feel like, I don't know. I don't think about how many days in a row I've practiced, if that makes any sense. There's an analogy in there somewhere. A really dark analogy. We're starting this one off dark, which I'm saying all that. There's nothing wrong with like keeping track of how many days in a row you've practiced. That's really good. But, you know, it's okay to like miss a day. The really important thing with anything that you're trying to learn is that you keep it in your mind constantly. We all have our things that we do. For example, my main thing, my biggest thing is practicing the classical guitar and furthering my guitar journey and career and practicing more classical guitar. So that's the thing that I do. I don't always do things right. I don't always do things the best, but you cannot say that I'm not always thinking about it. And I think that is the key to improvement of like your main thing. That being said, keep it in your mind, even if you like skip a day. I wouldn't even think of it like that. Just every time that you wake up, it should just always be the guitar. So just to get to your question, because I can feel myself going off the rails right now. You're keeping your hands and your wrists at appropriate angles, which, just to go over really quick, what are the appropriate angles in my opinion? It's something that I know as mid-range, which is basically, like if you hold your hand straight like this, like and make a fist, for example, as you can see, there's sort of like this angle that forms when we hold our hand like as what is like known as straight or what we feel straight. So I'll actually hold my wrist at a slight angle like this and straightening out like the path that tendon follows. And really what I want is something like this. And that pretty much goes for both hands. So you can see like I ideally want something like this. And then on the other hand, something like that. Out of tune guitar. first notes of the day. First notes of the year. Wow. Man, I already blew the first notes of the year on a C major 7 chord. An out of tune one. A buzzy one. Just squandered it. So you're keeping that, and your wrist is still hurting. Well, you're a beginner, and you've been practicing every single day. Think of it like this, you know, like if you start doing a new gym routine, for example, and it is like, I'm gonna go to the gym every single day for a year. I love the energy of that. I love the spirit of that, like the everyday grind. But you're not gonna do that actually. Like there's gonna be something that's gonna happen where you don't go, like be it you're going to just be, your body's just gonna be so taxed that you can't, or like something's gonna get in the way. You're just not gonna be able to do that. And right now what you're experiencing, maybe like it's all new movements for you and you've been practicing a lot every day. Even if you're doing everything right, like it can still tax your nervous system or like your joints or whatever. You maybe just need to like stop for a day and see how you feel, which isn't that bad. 10 days on, 1 day off. If you can maintain that for the entire year, that is going to be pretty much just as good as every single day with no breaks. Personally, for me, I practice like 6 days a week usually. And that 7th day, like I'll still play guitar, but I just won't play like nearly as much. And like maybe I'll just do scales and I'll kind of like try to do some other stuff or something. Like maybe take that time to like listen to more music or like work on composition like away from the guitar or just something like that, right? Like it doesn't always have to be the same stuff every day forever and ever. If I did like my big practice days where I practice like 4 hours, if I did that every day, my hands would probably get fatigued and like stuff would start hurting. Now, if this pain's going to be like chronic, that might be something to address and maybe really look at your hands and see what's going on and like make sure you are actually maintaining those angles. Because especially like your left hand, like, you know, who doesn't see that in like a video of them every once in a while, just seeing that left hand go out, or even like this hand, like that can be an issue that I have in my right hand sometimes, like my wrist just over bending. So, you know, it's good to look at that stuff. But, you know, I like the spirit of that. 10 days you've been going at it. And by the way, speaking of like being consistent with stuff, it's the new year. We've discussed that, right? What a wonderful time it is for your guitar progress. And today, especially, today is the first day of the new year. It's so easy to track now. It's January 1st. You get to go through a whole year until the next January 1st, and you get to actually see your progress up until then. Imagine how amazing it'll be if you actually, every single day of this year, wake up and think about how am I going to get better at guitar? Because this is the thing that you're picking that you want to get better at, and you're going to consistently think about it, and that's what matters to you. So what better way to start out the new year? Let's talk about what I'm going to do with my practice, how I plan on proceeding from here. It's not going to change much from what I've been doing for the past like 2 months or so. Scale practice, Beatle 997. Last night I started working on Villa-Lobos Etude 7. I think I'm going to add that in to have like a virtuosic scale etude, just to sort of start like actually playing music with these scales that I've been working on so much. I think that would be a pretty good idea. And that one seems straightforward enough for like scales. I think that paired with 997, fugue, and like all the other movements too, of course, will be a pretty good mix of stuff. I think so. At least until I start my master's degree. I'm sure I'll work on other pieces as well, but I'm going to try to make those two things sort of the main focus for the next like few months at least. All right, so for scale practice, I've settled on a technique for my scales, and it's pretty much the one that I settled on like last month, because I went through a lot of trial and error with my rest stroke scales, which I'll talk about it soon. I'm going to make a scale update video because it's been over a month since I last did that, and I think they've improved a lot, but you know, I just need to make the video. I plan on going hardcore on scales in 2025 throughout the whole year, because right now, like my scales, I feel like they're kind of lacking, like just my rest stroke IM scales, they just aren't as fast as I want them to be, and you'll see exactly how fast they are soon enough. I don't know. I see these people just like shredding so fast with their IM scales. Let's see where I can get in like a year of working on that. I was starting with 2 hours a day. I think I need to dial it back to maybe like an hour or something, which I think an hour is still a fine amount. And maybe I should start incorporating like arpeggio work in there as well, because I sort of have been neglecting arpeggios. But I worked on arpeggios a lot in 2024, so, you know, I think it'll balance out. You know, an even split of everything will be good. So scales, that goes out through the whole year. For Beatle 997, I would like to be able to read through and like have the whole thing playable by the end of February. Not memorized, but like I can play it with sheet music and I have all my fingerings worked out and I like know the music. The first 2 months of the year will be dedicated to that, and then the next 10 months will be dedicated to being able to perform it with a sophisticated interpretation with extreme attention to detail, and I will give it like the utmost attention and respect that it deserves. And in December, I would like to be able to record it as I recorded my last fugue this past December. Maybe I'll record a few more things as well. But that's sort of the recording / performance goals here. You know, every year, it would be kind of cool if I could just get a recording of a really hard fugue and just sort of build them up and see how I grow over time, maybe redo them as I go. Become a little recording artist, you know, we'll see. And then, I mean, also just starting grad school, which will be in August or so I have like 7 or 8 months or whatever until then. So I'm just going to try to do a whole bunch of work before then, and I'm sure when I go there, probably my trajectory will change off of the advice of my teacher, which is fine. That's why I'm going there. Yeah, sounds like a plan to you? Sounds like one to me. All right. Sounds pretty good. This is going to sound obvious, but nobody is going to think about your guitar progress for you. You need to be an advocate for your progress. And what I mean by that is you need to speak up and like defend your practice every single day. And you need to get creative sometimes to actually find time to practice in busy days or days when people expect things from you. And you also need to learn to turn people down and say no to people, especially people who aren't the most important people to you. And probably most importantly, you should surround yourself with people who support your goals and understand and maybe feel similarly about subjects similar to yours, or like it doesn't matter if they're similar, but people who care about things and like spend time every day getting better at things. Those are the best kind of people to be around. And if you find yourself around people who aren't like that, or even if they aren't like that but don't let you pursue your own stuff and they sort of want to just bring you down with them and just not do anything, you need to learn to say no to those people and maybe like reconsider if they're actually looking out for your best interest. You need to advocate for your guitar playing. No one else is going to do that for you. And it doesn't hurt to tell people that too. Like, even if you're a beginner, you might feel a little silly telling people that you need to practice guitar every day, especially if you're not that good yet. And there's this whole like, you know, I've been on Instagram, I've been like brain rotting quite a bit. There's this whole like thing with like, don't let them know your next move. Like, there's a sort of romance to like studying in the shed and nobody knows where you are, and then you just emerge and you're like a god. That's not going to be you. That's never how it works. Like, especially for something like this, because you don't just magically get insane at guitar. It's a long process. It's not just going to happen in like 6 months of like hardcore practice. It can to some extent. Like, you can improve greatly in a time frame like that. But you know, there's nothing wrong with just telling people what you're doing, even just to keep you accountable with stuff. So if you surround yourself with people that care about you and care about your goals, and you tell them like how important guitar is to you, and then they notice if you like haven't practiced for a few days, and they'll maybe like say something, that's the best kind of person that you want to surround yourself with. And you should do the same thing for them too, with the stuff that they want to do. And that is a beautiful relationship that you can have with people. That sort of thing is a must, and I've definitely not had that before, and I have that now with all the relationships in my life, so I'm very thankful for that. But it's something that you have to like seek out and work for. Keep thinking about it. Don't ever stop thinking about it. Every morning that you wake up, what are you going to do on guitar to get better? New Year's resolution type stuff. Maybe take a video of your playing right now. I do that all the time. See where you're at next year. Videos can be a pretty powerful reminder of like where you came from. Other ways to stay accountable, like document on Instagram. You don't have to make a practice log on YouTube like I've done. You could like do a really low effort version of a practice log on Instagram or something and just try to post to it every day. Maybe even like once a week if you want to be like a little more reasonable. Stuff like that. Showing people what you're doing, and notice the people who encourage you. Keep those people as close as you can. That's my advice for your wrist pain. So, okay. All right. I'm going to go to bed now, and then I'm going to wake up, and then I'm going to practice, and I don't know if I'll show any of that practice today. Maybe I'll just, like, not practice in this practice log, but know that I am practicing, okay? And they're, like, you know, so just in case, I'll do an outro, and if it skips right to me at the chair, then you know that I did practice, and if it just goes to outro right now, you know that I didn't film it, but I still did practice. So, hope I answered your question. If you made it this far, be sure to subscribe, leave a like. Hey, want some guitar lessons? I'll help you apply all that stuff that I talked about into your life. Personally, I'll tell you over Zoom. Just gotta pay me, and I'll give you guitar lessons. Hey, new year, new guitar teacher. Think about it. And of course, merch too. I sell merch. Go check out the store, Rootin's Delight. Head on down over to Rootin's Delight. Pick yourself up some merch. Honest merch for honest folk like you and me. And of course, leave some comment questions. I'll answer them in the chair. Make them guitar related. Make them not. I don't care. I'll answer any anything. Or not. I might not answer it too. I'll try my best to answer it in the chair. If I don't answer it here, I will more likely answer it in the podcast. I make a crappy podcast. Go check it out. Alright, well, that was this one. I'll see you in the next one.